Yo, you got some of that werewolf skin, man? I'm talking that real deal, full fursuit, man. Takes me about as high as the full moon, man. And I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I got some Mounds chocolate bars with your name on it. See, last time I ended up getting just a paw, and I was like, what am I finna do with the paw, man? What, go do an arm wrestling contest? Go on a slap contest? That ain't enough to get me all the way up there. But a full body suit, oh brother, that's gonna get me on that Vulpus high. Oh yeah, buddy. And I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I need it right now. So if y'all down for some, you know what I'm saying, cookies and cream Hershey's, some Reese's Pieces, some Mr. Goodman bars, I'ma tell you right now, cough that shit up. I mean it. I can't go any longer. Okay, enough of that stupid skit. Let's get to talking about Goosebumps Werewolf Skin, a Halloween book with a very novel werewolf idea, and the next attraction that we go to in Horrorweentown Festival. Let's go. Put your hands together, cover your eyes, getting ready for a big surprise. Spirits in a bottle, ghosts in the machine, walking on water, floating on a dream. Who's fooling who can you believe? Now, Werewolf Skin is a fairly well-regarded and popular book. Is it as popular as, let's say, Werewolf of Fever Swamp? No, it's not. But that being said, it is a amazing book. Spoiler alert. I mean, I would say that it's better than Fever Swamp. And it's a Halloween read. It takes place with a Halloween setting, and the idea kind of incorporates Halloween costumes in a way. So this is a book that I think should definitely be checked out by every single Goosebumps fan out there on a yearly basis. And even if you're not like a full-on Goosebumps fan, if you just want a fun, cozy Halloween read and you like werewolf stories, I think that this is one you should definitely go ahead and check out. So let's talk a little bit about the plot. I'm not going to give too much away, and then we'll go into the positives I had with it and a few minor negatives. So the story basically opens up with your main character, Alex. He's heading on a bus over to his aunt and uncle's place. They live in this small town surrounded by forest and woods, and he's going there because his parents are out on a business trip. So he's like, okay, I have to go spend time with them. And actually they share a certain hobby together because Alex loves doing photography, and his aunt and uncle are photographers. So they kind of have a common ground in terms of that. But they live in a small town, and he's going to have to go to a brand new school for a few weeks. He's going to have to get adjusted because he's away from home. And as he gets there, he very much notices how happy and excited his aunt and uncle are to see him. They talk about photography. They talk about Halloween coming up and what he wants to dress up as. And they talk about him attending a new school and meeting some of the local kids to kind of befriend. One of them including Hannah, who ends up becoming quickly one of his best friends because she lives next door and she's easy to get along with. As he's heading back to their house, there's discussion that in the woods, there happens to be a high wolf population, which makes it kind of dangerous because, Alex wants to go out there. He wants to do nature photography at night as well, and that can be a danger hazard. So his aunt and uncle are kind of preventing him, saying, don't go out too late. You're going to end up getting injured. Something bad might happen to you on our watch, and we don't want that to happen. They do have a house rule, however, and the house rule is that you don't go next door to the Marlings. The Marlings are said to be very strange, very sort of hostile and standoffish with anybody approaching them. And when he sees the Marlings' neighbor house, it's very decrepit and worn down, so it kind of gives off a bad vibe. But he is curious as to why everyone's saying, like, don't go near there. And as he starts getting adjusted to where he's living now, he gets introduced to Hannah. They get along with each other. They head out into the woods and have some conversations with each other. Again, bringing up the whole wolf thing and the howlings that they hear sometimes occasionally, and getting into some bully characters who kind of give him a little bit of a hard time, making Alex feel like, it's going to take some getting used to with this new sort of lifestyle. He then notices one late night that there is strange noises coming from the Marling's house. And of course, everyone's been standoff from him basically going to the Marling's place. But he hears them kind of making a lot of racket. and he sees that there is this amorphous animal-like silhouette in a basically room that's lit up with light with a curtain behind it, and it looks like a half man, half canine kind of thing going on, and he hears strange growling and noises and howling coming from him. But when the light turns off and some things basically crawl out the window and go run off into the woods, it's too dark for him to see. So as the story progresses, he ends up in a situation where he goes out to the woods to kind of go investigate, because he had left behind his camera when he went with Hannah out to the woods upon their first encounter. And as he goes out there and tries to find his camera and does do a little bit of just kind of looking around and investigating, especially with the Marlings acting up weird, he ends up encountering something that the town has kind of been hinting towards. Mostly the kids at school have been kind of talking about werewolves being an actual thing that lives in this town. And of course, unlike most Goosebumps stories where the main character believes something and everybody else doesn't believe him, here Alex does not believe him and everybody else is under this conception that werewolves exist. And he encounters one. He encounters one out in the woods. It's a very hair-raising encounter where he's hiding behind a bush and the werewolf is like a few feet next to him with the bush covering him up, sniffing in the air. And it's got a couple animals that it's completely mauling and ripping apart, which is pretty brutal, pretty crazy. You get some gore right there. And it ends up with a chase scene. It's kind of high stakes. And the story then starts to become the idea of Alex trying to figure out the mystery of what's up with the Marlings. Is there something more to them? What's up with the woods and werewolves existing? Is that a thing? Are people pulling his leg? Or is it actually true because he had this strange encounter and he's leaning towards that? Is his aunt and uncle safe because they go out at night and do photography? So aren't they posing dangers on themselves? And why are they very restrictive on him? They don't want him going out, but they're risking their lives. So how does that make sense? And he hears discussion in school that werewolves, the way they actually transform, at least in this story, is that they will transform into a werewolf for the first time and then shed their skin, almost like a kind of Halloween costume, a living costume, and they'll keep it until the next full moon where they put it on themselves and then transform into a werewolf again during the full moon nights. So all of this kind of plays a role together. And how does it play a role together? That's up for the main character to decide. So that's sort of the general story without me giving too much away. And now let's go into a lot of positives and then minor negatives I did have with the book. So the big positives that I can give about this story is you do have a fair amount of werewolf action. You get a lot of screen time with the creatures. It is an actual creature feature in that sense where they do get ample screen time. It is quite hair-raising and intense, the scene involving the werewolves. It's very creepy, the idea of one of them possibly being behind like a window, like there's a light on in a room next door to your house, there's a curtain, and you just see this, hulking wolf-like, silhouette behind there growling and snarling and getting ready to come out the house for some reason. The idea that Alex is hiding behind a bush and there's a full-grown werewolf right there, ready to go, ready for action. And it's tearing apart animals. We don't really know what they are, like rabbits or whatever. And when Alex, ends up basically getting chased away and thinks that his life is at risk, and he finds his camera and then discovers the carcasses, he sees that they're completely mangled and ripped apart. And that implants the image that this is what these werewolves could do to him, do to a full-grown kid or even a full-grown human, because he's worried about his aunt and uncle going out at night. So there's high stakes, there's good action. There's more action that you get in Werewolf of Fever Swamp. I kind of compare them, even though I really like both books, because, Fever Swamp and Werewolf Skin are kind of the two big werewolf ones, especially because they're in the original 62, which is the most popular run. And Fever Swamp usually gets more talk, more notoriety than Werewolf Skin does, but Werewolf Skin has a lot of, werewolf action and just a really interesting concept involving these werewolves actually shedding their skin, again, like a Halloween costume, and having to put it on. And the people who do, rip off these costumes and put it on during the full moon, it's very much like an addicting, like magnetic pull. That's why, the beginning segment of this thing, it's kind of like drugs. It's like they keep on having to do it. They have to keep on transforming. It's an addicting thing, and it's overpowering on them without other people kind of stepping in or trying to mess with them or interfere them. So it's a very interesting concept. It's very much like bringing a Halloween costume to life. And it's a novel idea for a werewolf story. So I do have to applaud it for all these things. You also have the added mystery aspect, the idea of the Marling's house, the idea of why do all these kids believe in werewolves? Why is it such like a commonly accepted thing? Why are the aunt and uncle sneaking out? That doesn't make sense because there's a clear danger posed. And why are they so overprotective on Alex? These are all like four-way factor mysteries that are kind of interconnected and revealing itself as the story goes along. And the main one figuring out the mystery is Alex. He's leading the run. He's playing the detective. He's solving that mystery, which gives him an active, engaged role throughout the thing. He's not going around and being like, oh, you gotta believe me. It's actually other people who are trying to convince him and make him believe. And, this mystery that he thinks is a certain way ends up, of course, ending up with the twist that kind of throws him for a loop. And there's a very intense scene after a reveal happens, or let's just say he's around some people that he feels uncomfortable with. I'll leave it at that. That was quite, intense because it's like you're just casually around certain people you think that, you're close to or trust. And then it's like, can I really trust them? We don't know. It's not really confirmed until the end. So all that stuff is good. And Alex is a good character. I don't think he's mind-blowing in terms of Goosebumps characters. There's quite a bit more that I like, more like Carly Beth or I think it's Stephen Sweeney from Night of the Giant Everything or Billy Deep. Those characters I think are more interesting and just novel. Alex is a good character, and he has a few decent lines, but I think that his episode counterpart is the one that's like more personality, more sassy. In the book, he's good, but I don't think he's nothing like super crazy. The photography aspect, though, is interesting as a hobby. And the other characters are sort of just forgettable. They just kind of are there to push the plot along. Hannah, especially, most of her dialogue is to put on the mystery. The bully characters are sort of as plot devices, too. So nothing too remarkable. Again, it's not like a crime to not have like interesting characters. They're just kind of there to push the plot along. Even the aunt and uncle mostly don't have much dialogue outside of just pushing the plot along for Alex. So yeah, those are minor gripes, I would say, is that the characters are not too crazy. And Alex being good, he's still, I don't think, anything that's like mind-blowing or raising. Another gripe I have, a minor gripe, is that there's a very stupid decision made by Alex at a certain point where he's in the forest and he sees some werewolves about to take down a baby deer. And he ends up basically stepping in and trying to ward off the werewolf's attention, kind of save an animal life. But it ends up almost risking him getting killed, which is very detrimental to his plan because he wants to kind of take pictures, of course, of the werewolves and figure out this mystery. But if you're killed or dead, it's done. You're not going to be able to kind of like save the day or reveal the plot, So that was a dumb decision. And also it was a waste because the werewolves end up killing another animal like right after it. So that was a stupid thing. I just felt like that was kind of just him trying to be too bravado. I mean, you can say it's like brave, he's got guts, but at the end of the day, it ended up still being stupid, and it ended up not kind of being worth it because, again, a life was taken nonetheless. So that was pretty, I didn't really understand that. But those aside, the rest of the book is great. It's great. It's amazing. I give it a 9.4 out of 10. It's a really good Halloween read. And it's a very scary, intense book. I mean, I was shocked at the fact that I had hair-raising moments or creepy moments, atmospheric moments, flat out horror in there. And the climax is a little bit rushed too. I guess that's another small gripe. It feels like it's almost wrapped up too quickly, but there is a dark ending, and that dark ending is pretty notable for Goosebumps. It's a flat out dark ending. So if you like that, again, not spoiling on you on what the climax and ending is, but yeah, if you like dark endings, it is there in the book, so look forward to that. And that's all I really got for today. It gets a 9.4 out of 10. It's a great book. All the highlights that I mentioned, you guys should definitely go check it out. Not as popular as Werewolf Fever Swamp, but I think it should be as popular. And in my perspective, this book is better than Werewolf of Fever Swamp and is a good Halloween read and is a unique werewolf story, which makes it worth getting some more love. A lot of people love this book. It's just not one that I think is, one of the head staple, like one of the big mascot books. But I wouldn't mind it becoming a mascot kind of book in terms of fan love in the modern age. So yeah, go check out Werewolf Skin, especially during October right now. Quick, fun, cozy read, and I think you'll have a good time with it, and you'll definitely respect it. I've spoken to some people who, kind of get sick of like adult werewolf stories and all this stuff, and I've told them the concept of Werewolf Skin, and they're like, wow, that's pretty unique. So even werewolf heads kind of give this one a little bit of, some respect. And stay tuned for more to come. Again, I got more October reads. The next video is going to be a Monster Street book, considered to be one of the best ones from that small series, a modern kids horror series. And that book is aptly called The Halloweeners. So look out for that one. I'm going to be reading through that one pretty soon and then giving you guys my review. But that's all I got for today at Horrorweentown Festival. Again, we got another attraction down at Werewolf Woods, and next time we're going to be going to the haunted house to go check out what the Halloweeners are up to. Stay tuned. Look forward to more content, and just embody the autumn spirit and get ready for when Halloween finally rolls around. That's all I got. Deuces.
Gotta go. See ya.
Yeah, see ya.